So here, Del, when you're talking into this, make sure it's like a fist away, and I'll remind you. But
All right.
your levels are good, so
How's this?
it's fucking primo. Found out the other day that Alex Jones is my biological father.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
right.
That's awesome, dude. I
Dude,
wish he was
imagine
my
that.
father.
Dude, you gotta get him on here. Have a reunion.
I wish he was my father. God damn, that's sick.
That would take things to a whole new level, man. I'd be living a different life. I'd be fucking loud and proud about it too. Yeah, man. So we got Del Beck 9 on the mic as a co-host for the first time in rotation for the locals only podcast team. And we got Ian here today, sitting across from me, fucking champ. You know. Actually, what was it? 2 weekends ago, went to the concert and that was fucking awesome.
Yeah, it was
How's
fun.
your experience been with that? Like, what's it feel like getting up there?
Awkward.
Like,
It feels awkward. Like practicing, it's very comfortable, but then like you get on the stage and then you got a bunch of people you don't know just staring at you. It's like, this could be good for them, or they're gonna hate it.
And it's kind of like a test run. I mean, from what I've seen, because I've been to both of your first two shows, and you can see the learning curve.
Yeah,
it's night and day between the first and the second, and you played the same songs because you know what I mean. Like, and it's amazing how much better just the levels were. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like,
yeah, the first concert. I mean, the guy asked me like, "Hey, you gonna do your levels?" And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, how loud do you want it?" I was like, "Yes." And I just cranked the knob.
Yeah, I know. I didn't get that either because he's like asking you guys, and it's like, dude, you have a fucking soundboard in front of you.
Yeah.
Like, how about you figure it out?
It would have been.
You know what I mean? Like, you've been to a concert, I'm sure, and you know the deal. Like, most concerts have like an EQ stand, like in the middle, front and center. This one wasn't even front and center; it was like off to the side.
Yeah.
So I don't know. They put on a good show. I can't talk shit. They did put on a good show.
Yeah,
like, I was there
It was
the whole way through. It was a freaking awesome time. One of the best times of my life.
That was a fun show.
But yeah,
even without playing, like they had the bowl of joints.
I know.
They had a keg.
Yeah, we get there and there's mad trees like everywhere.
What?
This guy's has, I don't know, what, 12, he had like 12, 15. I mean, probably more or just as many as he could have legally, we'll say. I have no idea. But let's say, just as many as he could legally. Outside growing, it was a sunny day.
Legal amount.
Exactly. No more than the legal amount, and I believe it's fucking 12, which is like insane, the fact that we live in a time that's a thing. My cousin has some plants here in Ludlow, and it's hilarious because I remember a time where you're hiding that shit.
Right.
Like, just having it gave you anxiety, and the worst thing about marijuana was getting caught with it.
Right.
You know what I mean? I also remember back when like weed was like so speculative, like it cured everything. You know what I mean? You remember talking, oh man, this shit will cure that. Yeah,
you got the common cold. Yeah, here's a joint.
Here's some weed. Cures everything.
I mean, it does cure a lot.
It's pretty damn good.
Yeah.
I did a research project in high school for it, and the teacher actually allowed me to do it, which is crazy that I had to ask about that, because even that would be a kind of a concept, because before you wouldn't have to ask about something like that. And I remember asking if I could do a research project on marijuana and how it's anti-cancerous, and like I did something about how it can affect skin cancer in a really good way by like affecting the epidermal growth factor and stuff like that by like rubbing it on your skin, or something about cannabinoid receptors. I forget the whole gist of it, but it was sort of like all scientific, and then to the end a little spin like, how is this illegal and alcohol isn't? And then then I even added in some like pictures of like car crashes, you know what I mean, like like as a result of alcoholism, you know. So I think there's just a lot of or like mouth cancer and stuff like that. I mean, for Christ's sakes, tobacco was legal for the longest time.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts. I mean, and you think about it, it's like you can go to a store, walk in, and it's like going to, a liquor store.
Yeah.
And you can just be like, I want this one. I want that one. I'll take this too.
Right. You can buy enough to kill yourself in the parking lot, like right there.
Yeah.
And then people are still in
Oh
jail
my
for
God,
it.
It's crazy.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it goes to show you too, like there's especially in times like this where we're all wondering what the hell's going on and why there's like so much misinformation on stuff and why you can't talk about certain things, and it's because there's no difference between the government and the aristocracy.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like right now, it's a huge pharmaceutical push for making sure everybody gets a shot. And it's like kind of up in the air and how effective it is. And I don't know if it should ever be, you know, mandates have always been something that I've never been for in any way. And in the same fashion, we saw that with marijuana for the longest time.
Right.
You saw these people who were like, if you had it, you would be severely punished. Like I just said, the worst thing about marijuana is getting caught with it. You go to jail for a long time and ruin your personal reputation for the rest of your life,
Right.
because you have an actual criminal record for that. And it probably wouldn't just be like, oh, he was getting high with his buds. It was like possession of such Schedule I narcotics and distribution. Like they could put anything they want. They could make it sound heinous.
It was up there with like heroin.
Yeah.
Yep.
And is it any coincidence that back then, during the war on drugs, one of the largest industries that there were, the two largest industries that still are to this day in the United States, I believe, is the prison industry and the pharmaceutical industry. They go hand in hand, and like it's no coincidence that marijuana, like we were just saying, is like extremely therapeutic for so many different reasons, and mostly psychological. If you find most of these more organic drugs like psilocybin from mushrooms and THC from marijuana, CBD from marijuana, even LSD, mescaline. There's a ton, and now because of the war on drugs, there's a lot of back work that these people like Michael Pollan and Paul Stamets are kind of filling in for, which is awesome. But there's so much we don't know about it because for the longest time people were being canned for it.
Yeah.
And, you know, like I said, it goes back to not being much of a surprise that the largest industries are the pharmaceutical ones and the prison ones, because now you got a reason to put somebody in jail, and you get to cut down on any competition from whatever the hell they were selling people over the counter to deal with those issues.
It's interesting because you figure like if you just regulated everything, it'd be safer.
Yeah.
Like, you know, if you were to have it legalized and have it worked on and made it so it was less messed by people in their basement putting whatever, chemical in there to make it work, and cheaper so they can get it out more and get more money.
I couldn't agree more, because I tell you, I think the one of the biggest issues in this whole concept of gateway whatever, like, you know how they say it's a gateway drug. The gateway was really your affiliation with sometimes pretty fucking sketchy people.
Mm-hmm.
If you wanted just a little bit of weed. You know what I mean? And we've had plenty of friends. I've seen lots of people come and go back in those days, because the only way you could get weed was from really not always a sketchy person. I sold weed for a little, but
there wasn't a store.
There wasn't a store. There wasn't a professional. There wasn't somebody who goes, this is alcohol.
You had to know a guy that knows a guy.
Now, if you want cocaine or heroin, there could be fentanyl in it. Dead. You know what I mean? Like, why not have somebody who can just distribute it to you and give you maybe some facts if you need them, or help.
Right.
Like, I can count on this person. You're going to go to your guy, especially considering your guy probably doesn't care how old you are, what you got going on. You might be able to have him front you some, you know what I mean? And that whole system can be convoluted. Be like, yo, just, spare me this and whatever. And then it's all has to do with drugs, and now people are getting in trouble and fucking whatever.
Right.
Versus, like you said, having the more storefront clinical approach where you can have somebody who's like, oh yeah, this is weed.
Yeah, and they know exactly what's in it. They know how it's going to affect you.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like, this might fuck your day up.
Right.
I don't know. I got this last week from some random guy.
Or those people, those 4 comedians or 5 comedians that got a hold of cocaine, I think, with fentanyl in it. I heard it on Joe Rogan's podcast, but 4 of them died, and one of them was hospitalized.
That's fucked.
Imagine. Deadly.
Huh?
The fentanyl is deadly.
It's insane, and it's like, since nobody's really making it, and it's all sort of, or like nobody we know of. We know it all comes from like Central America, but like, how is it really being cut?
Right.
You know what I mean? You get a batch of it and it's pure, sure. But if you're the person you're the middleman and you get a batch of it, you're gonna like try and get as much out of that as possible and distribute it. So I think, back to really the thing is like mandates. I think mandates in any regard are usually more hampering than they are beneficial for people.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't actually help people do what they need to do to be better. I mean, like even right now, last year's heroes are this year's unemployed with all these hospitals firing people for nurses for not getting vaccinated.
Right.
Like, isn't that insane?
Yeah, it's
like
a
these
little
people were
insane.
exposed to it like countless times, and then and now they're jobless, and then they're jobless because they're not doing something that would better their health, so to speak, from a mainstream standpoint. But like last I checked, one of the worst things for your health is to be impoverished. If you can't afford food or clothing or a house, or like rather a place to live, I don't know how your health is going to sustain itself.
Right. And the other thing is, like, with the new mandates coming out, if you have a company that's over 100 employees,
Yeah, I heard about that.
you have to get rid of the people that aren't vaccinated.
Yeah, what is
it's a fine.
What
I'm
is
not
the
sure.
official thing?
I don't know if it's a fine. I don't know how big it is. If it is a fine, if it could be
I do need a
crippling to a
computer
company.
over there, like to Google that.
Look it up.
Yeah, what is that? But yeah, keep going.
But
maybe you could find something on it. I forget what it was. Isn't it like it is a tax? It's like an extra fee.
Yeah, I'm not sure how big it would be.
Which makes no sense.
But if you think about it, it's like you have all these people that aren't vaccinated, and I'm sure it's a decent amount of people. Say 15% of people aren't vaccinated. Then you got 15% less production and labor and 15% less consumption. So, because we're a consumer-based country,
yeah,
we're gonna lose some economy, and then things get inflated because there's less of it.
Yeah, I was gonna say this whole whatever the hell they're doing for the economy, quote unquote, has been a real fucking shit show, and I don't know if there's anybody who can really argue that, because really, price of gas is way up. Stocks are pretty much like way down from where they were last year. You get involved with the stock market a little. Did you find anything on that, by the way?
Yeah. It says employers over 100 employees to ensure their workforce is fully vaccinated or require any workers who remain unvaccinated to produce a negative test on a weekly basis.
Oh, okay. So you can provide a test too.
Yeah.
See, I think that's a little bit more. That's a little smarter. It's a little bit more pragmatic, rather, because what's the point of the whole shot if you have the shot, you're not really protecting anybody except yourself. I mean, there's a small fraction, but it's entirely circumstantial and speculative. It's not like anything that's concrete facts.
Right.
And so if it's not up to the individual anymore and it's mandated, I just don't understand that.
Yeah, it makes a little bit of no sense to me.
Yeah. So like by and large, what was it? They were pushing for it, and I forget where I was going with that. So I think I hear about it all the time, and it's like, oh yeah, now that's what it was. If you've been already vaccinated for 6 months, some places aren't even considered that vaccinated.
Yeah, it really depends on which one you got.
Yeah.
And if you're going to get that booster.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you don't have the booster, you're not considered vaccinated. So you have the card, say you're in New York, and be like, yeah, I got the card. And then there's a guy behind him like, oh, I got a test just now saying I'm negative. The guy with the test wouldn't even be able to get in. The guy with the card who got vaccinated maybe 7 months ago can go in.
Right.
But you don't know if he's sick or not.
Yeah, it's weird.
You know what I mean?
It's also relatively new as well. Like COVID, it's only hasn't been like 2 years yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
like taking some serious chances out there, and it's like they just want you. It almost seems like they want a receipt for the sale. They need to push that set of products, and it seems like that. Right. That's what it seems like to me. It really does seem like a sales thing.
Yeah, I wonder if it's going to be like you have to get a booster every 6 months.
Right, because it's safer to just make testing streamlined.
Right.
If you really want to know, because somebody who has the shot, they can still spread it to X amount of people, billions. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter. It can be as many people as they want to be next to.
Right.
Vaccinated or unvaccinated. You know what I mean? Like, so it seems at this point, the push for it and the mandate are more ritualistic and based off of religious and political efforts.
Right.
You know
I don't even know if it's going to go through. I hope it doesn't, but...
Yeah, I hope not either. I mean, shit.
It's a little ridiculous, a little excessive.
I get worried when people start talking about, like, travel bans and restrictions and these freaking passports. I'm like, how the heck is that going to work?
Right.
But yeah, I don't know. But it goes back to the aristocracy and the government are the same person. You know what I mean? And it's funny because they'll go, oh, tax the rich, and then everybody who really pays for these new taxes is just our class.
Right.
Yeah.
It just comes right down to the bottom, and not that we're at the bottom. There's much low than there is a ceiling in the world. So I'm not trying to be a pessimist in where I am in society. I'm pretty happy. I got a place to live and food that I can eat. So I really have nothing to complain about. But if you're gonna, go around trying to build the government, which they are, and they try to do it like a business when you really look at it.
Yeah.
Like any type of institution, organization, department, whatever you want to call it, that they make, they can't let that go. If it's for like gay rights or something, they can't ever let that go, because if that problem no longer exists, that entire department goes away. You know what I mean? So like you have a demand for all kinds of different issues when it comes to the government. Sometimes there's obviously ones that, like, we all know we need the roads, we all need basic infrastructure. Those types of things should be pretty consistent because it's always going to be needed. But on things that are on a social level, sometimes they'll just, like, for instance, that homeless situation in California, they have like a multi-billion-dollar administration for the homelessness.
Oh,
and then
I
they just
heard about that.
Yeah, they pour billions of dollars, into their homeless infrastructure or whatever, and there's just bureaucrats running that thing, and then probably making most of the money because obviously they have over 150,000 people homeless there.
Yeah, they're definitely pocketing that.
I mean, that's what I'm saying.
Whatever
Like,
amount of money is
and
going into that.
And I just heard, actually, it was on a recent Joe Rogan podcast, that most of those people are now confirmed. Hard to believe. I mean, most people go, oh, they're just less fortunate. They had a bad go. No, most of them are just really addicted to drugs.
Right.
And there isn't really infrastructure to deal with that in California.
Right.
Because you can't, you know what I mean? They're very soft with those kinds of things. It's like you're not allowed to call people addicts and stuff like that. And it's like, no, these people are addicted to heroin, So I kind of look at that and I'm like, fuck, dude, those guys are really screwed, because what's really happening is a similar situation to that Chinese proverb of the monkey helping a fish out of the water so he doesn't drown. You know what I mean? And so, like, you got those institutions that are pretty much just doing that, and these people don't get the help that they actually need. They go, oh, well, this is a money problem. We need to give these people money, and more often than not, it kills them.
Right. Do you think Biden actually makes any decisions?
I don't know. I don't know if any president does. You know what I mean? Like, I always thought about that. In fact, it seems like, and this was always my opinion when I was a kid, I go, there's way too many massive institutions that anybody who you see is making decisions.
Right.
Like, who's really turning the cogs of the war machine?
It really, like, Biden specifically can't finish a sentence.
Right. Like,
so it's like, how is he making those ideas? How is he making these choices?
If there's one person to really blow that out of the water, it would be him. It'd be him to show the world that the president's not doing anything. He's going, hey, make sure 2:00 you're gonna go say this, and then he says it.
Jumbles the words.
Put him back in.
It's like, who actually let him take the microphone?
They put him back in this bunker, which isn't at the White House. I doubt he even lives there. You know what I mean? It's all a fucking show. Did you see that picture? You guys saw that picture? Joe Rogan shirt.
Yeah.
And
it's
a bunch of people
staged vaccine or booster or whatever.
He's just sitting there on a chair in a stage with an LCD screen behind the window, propagating a sunny day.
Right. Like, you didn't really need to go that far. Like, you could have just done it in your office.
Why not there? Yeah. Like, I don't understand.
What do you guys think about Trump 2024?
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, it probably. Oh my God, that's a great question.
I
hope it.
I don't know.
Yeah, I try not to think about that because I really didn't pay attention to politics at all until the Trump Biden presidency. Yeah. So like, obviously, a lot of the turmoil and fucking aggression that is caused from all this came from that. But it's like also the media.
Yeah.
So I was more of a Tulsi Gabbard guy. Did you follow Tulsi?
Yes.
Tulsi's badass.
She's powerful.
She would be awesome. She would have been perfect, and she did. She checked off all the boxes in my opinion. And I remember she went on. She was on with Jocko on a podcast. And
I don't think I saw that episode.
It was great.
Yeah,
and
I saw that one.
Man, I tell you, and it's amazing they passed that up. But the reason they passed that up is because the world of politics is the world of extremities. You have to be all complete. Look at that. There was no there was a exact moment where you knew Biden was the president, right? Because he's all government and taxes kind of guy. So as soon as he went in, government taxes go way the fuck through the ceiling. Stocks plummet. Gas goes way the fuck up. You know what I mean? Everything gets kind of blown out. I don't even know if anything good happened. These are just the things I can experience in my immediate reality, right?
Right.
But and then you have the extreme on Trump's side where it's all business. You know, prices are way down. In my opinion, this is my opinion. I like that better. But I don't know if that's really Trump. I think it's just the people in the organization that are allowed to do things.
Right.
So, I mean, whatever will fucking get gas down below $2 again, I'll vote for them. But 2024, I don't think unless he runs with DeSantis. What's the guy from Florida?
I have no idea.
People are really liking him.
I've just seen a little bit here and there about like Trump 2024.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I am actually really excited to see who's running in 2024.
I'm pretty sure he wants to. Like.
I'm sure he will.
Yeah,
I'm sure he will. But it's like at the same time, you know, we live in a really weird world where a lot of really fucking crazy shit was exposed. Like, for instance, social media and the media.
Yeah.
The media and social media are all bought out. There's like literally just Fox as a
Yep. He's making
contrast.
He's making his own social media.
Yeah. Oh, he is?
Oh, dang.
You didn't hear about that?
No, I did maybe a little bit. I might have heard
man. He's
murmurings.
making his own like app or something. Like.
Okay.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Well, I encourage anything like that because like we've had this conversation all the time, right? You're an Android guy, I'm an Apple guy. My biggest fear would be that there's only Apple phones.
Yeah.
Or there's only Android phones. Like, you know what I mean? You don't want
I don't fear that.
You don't want what you have to be the only thing there is.
Right.
Right? Imagine if like the only car the only person making cars was one car. And this is the problem right now with social media. You literally have a monopoly in modern day and nobody's saying shit. Bill Gates got fucked over. I mean, you shouldn't say fucked over because he was fucking over, but you know what I mean? He got slammed for causing a monopoly with the tech industry, the hardware industry, I should say, and probably software because he was really the foundation of it in some ways. But now you have Google and Facebook who pretty much own the rest of them.
Right.
And nobody says anything.
For Facebook, you got YouTube for Google.
Yeah. YouTube owns Google.
No, other way around.
Or sorry, Google owns YouTube and probably a bunch of other things. There's Google Podcasts, whatever. But yeah, then it goes on and on. The only real outliers, but they're not social media, are Apple iTunes and Spotify. Because they aren't associated with either of those things, but they're not social media. Again, this is purely on a social media basis. We're looking at. Not yet. That's what I'm saying. Like, who knows? I guess Snapchat, but Snapchat's pretty bought out too. Yeah. Like, it's not.
Snapchat kind of sucks.
Snapchat really sucks. I deleted it. I don't know what to do with it anymore, and it's.
It was cool in high school.
Yeah, it works. You know what I mean? But anyways, so yeah, you're seeing a really interesting development where social media can now ban people and censor them, and so like between the censoring and these really hardcore mandates, like we're still wearing masks.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, and that's like kind of annoying. You know, it's like I don't wear them here,
right?
But then I go a town over.
Yeah,
and I gotta wear them. Like, is there really anything going on, or is this ritual? I mean, is this the thing I do?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Weird. You go into a church and you do your thing. It's like really just the recreation of ritual.
Yeah, I went to a gas station, like a Pride station. So there's a Pride station Chicopee. There's one in Ludlow here. And I went to one. I think it was the Ludlow one, and I had to put a mask on. Like they're like, yeah, you can't get anything here unless you have a mask on. I was like, wow.
Where was this?
I think it was Pride station
in Ludlow.
I think it might have been Ludlow. It might have been somewhere else.
You know, the funny thing about Ludlow is that, because that's where we are now, they have a mask mandate here.
Yeah.
But nobody does anything.
Yeah.
Like, most people aren't wearing a mask. I'll go shopping, no one's wearing a mask.
Yeah, I'm surprised to hear that they would.
Yeah. It might have been a different one. I think it was Ludlow, though.
Yeah, it probably was. There probably is some people who are like, it really depends on who's working the counter. That's what I'm saying. It's purely ritualistic from a political standpoint. And it's just a reincarnation of any religious prospect. You know what I mean?
Yep.
That's why you go into anything. There's always anthropomorphic fucking habits we do to associate what we believe in physically. You know what I mean? And that's kind of one of them. It's like, okay, wear your mask. And it's like, we never saw any research that it actually does anything.
Right.
Like that, the big curiosity, and this is what I always thought. It's like, well, if you wear a mask, if you cough or spit or sneeze, it's going to block, obviously, something. So it's got to have some protection.
But supposedly, it's smaller molecules than...
Yeah, so that's the thing. The if you were to go out on a cold day, you'll see how much vapor goes through it. So the question is how many millions of particulate does it take to effectively infect somebody? So if you're breathing out of the mask, and the mask, even if with it on, maybe protect from like 10% less of it, which makes it about 1 million parts maybe that you're breathing out. Say it only takes 10,000 to get you sick. So then the mask inevitably doesn't do anything. It just cuts down a little bit, but it's still...
Yeah. I think there was I saw on Joe Rogan that Fauci had some emails or something saying how the masks don't work and like that.
No, he even said it on television.
Yeah.
And and that was like probably the one of the things I was like, well, that makes sense. And I don't often feel that way when I see fucking Fauci talking, because I don't know what the hell he's saying, but I don't pay attention really. I'll see clippets, so I can't really say much of it because I'm on the bad spectrum there of, when you only see a little bit of something and you base everything off that. But I do remember seeing him say there's really no point to the mask because it's not gonna block enough. One, I think he said, and two, you're fidgeting with it all day. And dude, I have to wear one at work. I work in East Long Meadow. I have to wear that shit all day, and I'm touching it 1 million times a day.
Yep.
Touching my face, which I don't touch my face that much without a mask.
Right.
So it's like, what are we really doing? And that's why I keep saying it's just ritual at this point. It's just fucking cold.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. They want to see you wearing it. If you're not wearing it, like, you get looked at weird and stuff.
Yeah, it's
dude, it's so weird, man.
Weird times. But before COVID, if you go in with a mask, people were like,
well, look at you weird.
Yeah, like, oh, this person's sick. Get the fuck away from me.
How bad is it? Yeah.
Right.
Should you be here?
Right.
Should you be on a hospital bed?
Yeah. What's with the mask? You don't just walk around. I love Sebastian Maniscalco. Do you ever see him, that comedian?
No.
He goes, somebody walk, if you're, what was it? He went to somebody's door and he's knocking on the door. He's like, he meets the neighbor for the first time, and the neighbor opens the door. He's got a mask. He goes, first of all, you don't say anything until you tell me why you're wearing that mask. Like, oh yeah, I'm just painting a bedroom in there and I want to breathe in. It's like, okay, that's fine. Because if not, I'm gonna think you got dead bodies downstairs or something. No, but there's some things I agree with. Like, if you're sick, yeah, why not wear one? I think that's a great practice. But there's a difference between supporting the doing that and making it law.
Right.
Like, because then there's no more choice in the matter. And everybody who you don't even know, it's safer to pick up a mask off the parking lot, put it on and walk into a store than to walk into a store without one at all. At the end of the day, we don't want people to get sick.
I don't know if that's true.
No, it's definitely not true. My point is, it is legislatively, it is. They're going to be like, well, we need to uphold the
I get
law.
what you're saying.
You know what I mean?
I get what you're saying.
Because that's what I say to people. I go, well, you might
they
as well.
want to see you with the mask.
With
They don't
the
care
mask
about where the mask came from.
Don't care how old it is. Hell, I've been wearing this mask for 29 days straight.
Yeah.
And I've been sneezing in it. I threw up 3 days ago in this bitch. Like,
Right.
Nothing. Nobody has any questions about your mask, even though it could be disgusting and probably like ground zero for some new disease. You know what I mean? And I don't know. So
Yeah. That's a good point.
So fuck, man.
Shit.
But I guess now, like with concerts, you do need a vaccine card. Like, I know people who couldn't go to the concert without the vaccine card, not a negative test, the card.
Oh, that's interesting. I don't know. I went to a concert not too long ago. They didn't card or even mask people or.
Yeah, no, I've been to a few too. It all depends on where you go, like Boston, New York.
Yeah.
Mostly New York.
Some big concerts.
Yeah, big ones. Like,
I know my dad went to a play or something. Maybe a week or two ago. And if you didn't have your vaccine card, you couldn't get in. And I don't know if people were aware of that, because some people were turned down at the door, like, yeah, you got to go, no refund. It's like, was this disclosed? That if you had no vaccine,
no refund?
Yeah, no refund. I don't know the name of the place, but I think it's a little sketchy. I don't
Fuck
know if
those guys.
I don't know if they actually put it in like the flyer or whatever, like have to be vaccinated to come to this. But it's like if people bought the ticket, you should at least let them go in with a mask.
Yeah, something.
Like,
Again,
or refund them.
It's crazy how again jumpy people are to make decisions like that off of speculation.
Right.
Because it is objectively perfectly possible, and the odds weigh in the favor that he's not sick at all.
Right.
So then it's like, at what point do we? I joke with people at work all the time. I go, we're all sick and criminals at this point. Like, we're literally just one step away from having it be commonplace to have metal detectors at the end of every door and every building.
Right.
Just like we need masks and all this. You know what I mean? Like, why not? Because think speculatively from a subjective standpoint, anybody can be sick or criminal or deranged. We shouldn't trust anybody. That's really what all of this is. The whole presentation, the whole presentation of medical information, along with wearing something over your face, is really just a formality rooted in mistrust or distrust. Sorry. So like, why not just tack on? Hey, maybe he's got a shank. Pat him down. We need more. You know what I mean? Like,
up the security.
That'd be crazy.
This guy's sick and he's trying to kill people. What I mean, because technically, that is a fractal safer to assume, right? So why not do that?
Yeah.
Because it isn't convenient, no, but it is safer. Objectively, to just pat everybody down, but it's like, fuck, man, like that's the kind of world we want to live in.
People would go crazy.
Yeah.
No, it'd suck.
I
would hate it.
I don't think people would go crazy enough. I think they'd just be like, you know what, this is my life now.
If it was on CNN, people would be like, yeah, Dr. Fauci said people could kill you.
I think people just go in line like, you know what, I guess I gotta do this. All right, I gotta make sure I get my gun that I have I have a card for. It's legally, I have a license to carry and conceal. But I gotta put that in the car now because I'm gonna get patted down.
Well,
anything. I mean, just knowing that you're gonna get patted down going somewhere would drive people crazy.
Yeah, it'd be awful.
Absolutely.
But think about it.
And you get those sketchy people, like that pervy dudes.
Oh yeah.
Finally I get my chance to rise. I can pat people down.
Yeah, those people.
Yeah, all types of problems would arise. You know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, it'd be very similar to this whole mask thing.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, when I saw them people wearing masks, I was like, fucking kidding me?
Dude, you know what? It threw me for a loop.
I said, I'm never wearing a fucking
I was
mask.
off social media, everything. I didn't watch the news. And then one day, like, people are wearing masks at my work. I'm like, what's going on?
Yeah,
And they're like, yo, there's a pandemic. And I was like, what do you mean there's a pandemic?
Yeah.
And they're like, don't you watch the news? I'm like, no. Like, yeah, the coronavirus. I'm like, what?
God. Kill me, man.
And like, yeah, you gotta go wear this mask. It was like your client's place.
Most ridiculous thing. Like everybody's wearing masks, and you know, there's no way you can prove if any. Like, I don't know, man.
It's so weird. It's so weird.
It's the illusion of safety. Really, it's optics. That's even what they said. Like people on these news stations have like said, oh, it's optics. It's a matter of optics. This is why like everybody in DC will put the mask on for the picture, and then when the picture's over, they take the mask off, and it's back to
they walk to the stage with the mask on.
Right.
And then they go to speak and they take it down.
Yeah, you'll watch them put it on backstage to walk from backstage to the podium to take it off at the podium.
Yep.
Like, what the hell is going on? Like, I think there's just a profound level of tomfoolery. This is ridiculous.
I don't know.
And nobody, and it's like, you're not allowed to say anything because then you're a really bad person. You don't care about people's lives. Like, since when did people not die?
Right.
And then if you really look at the stats, it's like 96% of the people were people who already had comorbidities.
Yeah.
But you're also not allowed to say that. And it's like, I'm not being speculative by saying that.
Yeah.
I'm not saying anything negative or positive. I'm just saying that's the case.
Yep.
And so, I mean, mandates and enforcing people to quit their work.
It's interesting because like I've talked to like some family members like last night, my dad's birthday party, and you talk to him about these things, and then you say like, well, yeah, but people that are my age, because I'm talking about them, I'm not vaccinated. I might get it maybe if there's more statistics.
One day, yeah.
Maybe, yeah. I'll think about it. I could sway my decision, but they're like, well, people that your age die. I'm like, but they have comorbidities. I'm like, what's a comorbidity? I'm like,
I hate that.
Oh yeah, when they go, oh, that 16-year-old died, and then you look, and the kid weighed 350 pounds and was like diabetic, and it's like, what do you? Yeah. They'll say these things like he was so young, and it was so what's the word they use? It was so out of nowhere. Like, dude.
Yeah.
He was the flu would have killed him. It was only a matter of time.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, to go back on the topic about alcohol.
Yeah.
Somebody could just go in the store and grab enough to go kill themselves right there.
Yeah.
Right.
It only takes one bottle to drink the whole bottle yourself.
Die, right? It's like
or you drink and then you drive.
Yeah.
So the whole point of these mandates is to really cut down on human error. Yeah. Which is you being somebody who's sick but not know it and then get somebody else sick.
Right.
How about like just making alcohol illegal? That way there's no more drunk drivers, right? It's that simple.
Nope, it's not that simple. It goes back to making drugs illegal.
It's not that simple, right? Well, that's just it. And that's the same conversation. It's like the more things you make so that people can't do it, the more people will have to do it, but they'll still do it.
It's interesting. Like if you think about like when we were younger, we drank a lot.
Yeah.
Because we weren't allowed to.
Right.
And I was like, this taboo thing. I'm not supposed to be drinking. Yeah. It's fun. I'm with my friends. We're all drinking. We could get caught at any moment. And we get in trouble. But that was the thrill of it. Like, I could get in trouble for this.
Yeah.
And then, think about it, it's like once I turned 21, I didn't give a shit about alcohol.
Yeah, I definitely drank less.
That's why, like, legalizing everything would help. Because a lot of people just get off on the thrill of doing something bad, It's
yeah.
Like, yep.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of different things that end up disseminating once you make something legal. Like, for instance, I always said, like, the fact that marijuana was illegal was a massive, it was the massive foundation for the black market.
Yeah.
You could make so much money off of selling it because it was such a hot commodity. But and I, who knows who you were and what you were doing. So say you were selling it. I'm not saying that you were a bad person, but I am saying bad people were probably selling it. And this gave way for them to sell other drugs to people when they maybe shouldn't have been taking other drugs.
Right.
And this is the same conversation. So with drugs, it's like that. You make something illegal. Prohibition. We all saw what, we all know what happened. We didn't see it because it happened in like the 20s or whatever. But, all of a sudden the mob had all the money. Because they were selling alcohol, you know what I mean? Or something like along those lines.
Right.
I wish I knew more about that. But my point is that with anything, you make guns illegal, the only guns people will have will be illegal guns.
Right.
Which is probably worse because then there's less of a vetting system for people who want to legally get them. I mean, how do people really think that works? Look at Chicago. Chicago's like one of the worst places with gun violence in the country. Some kid got shot with a stray bullet in a train in the head.
That's fucked.
If he was an inch to his right, they said he would have died from that stray bullet. And guns are completely illegal in Chicago.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, you tell me. It's not like good people are going to get guns. Like if guns were illegal, I would never get one. Because like,
I might.
I'm not going to steal, you know what I mean? I don't know who to call for one, but like also, yeah, I just wouldn't want to go through it. But my point is that for people like us, if somebody breaks into your house, and I fucking can't stand the what's that saying? Oh, if you need a gun to protect your home, that just means you value your things over human life. You get your fucking damn straight, I do. I will fucking kill somebody if they come into my house and try to kill me or rape me.
In Massachusetts, if you do that without proving that you couldn't escape anywhere.
Yeah.
Like, so if someone broke into your kitchen here.
Right.
And you shot them because they threatened you.
Right.
And you thought that they were going to try to kill you. You could still go to jail for that. But if you were in the closet because you were fearing for your life and there was no way to escape.
And they were raping my daughter.
Anything.
You know what I mean?
But like you'd have to prove that you couldn't escape the situation.
Yeah.
In order to get away with it.
That sounds like Massachusetts to me.
Yeah. Texas. they're going
Texas,
your lawn.
Florida. I mean, there's a lot of places that you'd be surprised. It is funny how that New Hampshire is such an anomaly.
Right.
And like they just keep to themselves. I feel like I was just in New Hampshire today, and I was like, I feel like New Hampshire's like this little place of.
New Hampshire's different.
It's just different. They just kind of keep to themselves. They're kind of like very. They're a little bit more stoic about it. Like you can own a fucking automatic weapon in New Hampshire, but nobody really talks about it. Yeah. You can buy an automatic weapon. It costs like $10,000 for an automatic, like because of the module in the gun to allow that. Because most of them I don't think are sold stock like that unless they're military. Anyways. I think the dynamic of that conversation changes complete when you have kids. Because say I go, oh, there's a bad guy in here, and I go running out of my window. He comes and takes my shit, busts into somebody else's house, kills them and their children, or rapes their children, or whatever, fucking rapes them, steals their kids, whatever. It's like, dude, somebody's busting into people's houses. Just fucking kill them.
That's
it. Dude, Massachusetts, though, you gotta at least shoot them in the leg so they can survive.
Now that sounds extreme, but nature doesn't have that level of forgiveness in any way.
Right.
You know what I mean? You don't just break into the lion's den and they go, "Oh, I could get out the back. Sorry." Yeah. Take my kids. You know, like
I can always make new ones.
Yeah, we can always make new ones. Kids are replaceable, not your life, though, sir. Like, geez, not to be extremely dismissive, but I mean, it's not that you should go out of your way and premeditate just killing somebody, right? That is not what I'm saying. And I think that's what people think when it's like, oh, kill. No. If somebody's in your house, you don't have much time to think about things. Right. It's not like you can, you don't know how close the person is to you. There's 1,000 different situations. So I don't know. I mean, it's just not a conversation that I think is easily solved as just, don't shoot. I mean, now in California, what is it? You can't even call the cops unless somebody stole, or unless somebody's trying to kill you. Like they can steal your shit,
they can steal anything. People are going to people's houses.
Yeah, they don't even want to deal with it.
Yep.
And it's like for most of these people, the best thing that can happen for them is that they go to prison.
Right.
And it's like now it's a bad thing to say because prison has a terrible stigma. And it's mostly because a lot of innocent people at one point were going to fucking prison just for having weed or some bullshit.
Right.
But the reality is that somebody who's a fucking heroin addict probably would benefit the most from being in a place that she can no longer get a hold of any of that.
They could probably still get a hold of it.
In prison?
Dude, I don't know. I watched
maybe
TV
in the movies.
Maybe in the movies. I don't know. I don't know how it works in there, but
I think they would know.
If it's on TV, it's true.
Yeah. Well,
just like the internet. Everything's.
I would assume because I don't know either. I mean, I've never.
I would assume that there's some way to
testing. I'm sure they do. They do tests. Like if they know you're a drug addict, that's going to be part of your sentence.
I could only assume that you could run stuff on the inside while the stuff's still going on outside.
Yeah,
but like I said, I've never been to prison.
I have seen Shawshank Redemption.
That was a good movie.
Red's your guy, you know what I mean? You get you cigarettes and shit like that, and like that was just how it goes, So maybe you're right. Maybe you could get a little bit of this, a little bit of that, but you couldn't have a lighter and a syringe.
No.
I don't know if you could get away with that.
I mean, Pablo Escobar. I don't know. I've seen like the show on him and stuff where he was living like a king. He had his TV and his couch.
Yeah, because he was. What was he in prison in Mexico?
Yeah,
and like half of the Mexican economy was probably from his selling fucking drugs.
It was funding his prison.
Yeah. And that was his prison. Yeah, I know, dude. No, it's crazy. It's crazy to think as many things get away in the way that they do, and that. Well, here's the thing. I'm happy for the first time in my life that there is like a South, and I never had like a positive stigma about the whole thing. You know what I mean? I didn't really have any thoughts about it.
Right.
I always went because the reality is I'm entirely liberal. Like personally, but what's weird is that you see this strange dimension of the liberal political sphere where they're the ones who are demanding the most restrictions and mandates. You know what I mean? Silencing speech in a lot of ways, like banning people off of Instagram and Facebook and all these different platforms. God forbid you talk poorly about the response to the pandemic. You know what I mean? Right. It's like you can be deplatformed for the shit like that.
The alt-left and the alt-right are doing that. Nothing like really kind of like towards the middle.
Yeah, I have a feeling most people are towards the middle, but you don't see that on
They
the
don't.
news.
They don't
or
talk as
anything.
much
No,
about it because the squeaky wheel gets the
the
oil.
oil. That's it. It's so true, man. And yeah, so I'm happy. Like, hey, shit, if things go really bad, like say if Massachusetts starts looking like fucking New York or something,
Dude,
it's like I could go to New Hampshire. You know what I mean? I could go somewhere where it might not be a thing. Like, I just went to New Hampshire. There's no mask mandate in New Hampshire. I don't think anybody talks about it. It's not like a pivotal thing out there.
Do we have a mask mandate here in Mass?
In certain towns,
areas like Northampton.
it's
for
up
sure.
to the towns now. Northampton, Hadley,
I just take my
Springfield.
chances. I just walk in.
Yeah, wait till they say something.
Yeah,
That's what I do.
I'll leave it in my pocket and
Yeah.
like let's see
I'll
what
take my
happens.
chances.
Yeah, but yeah, so look, like I go shopping. I get a lot of my groceries from Hadley because I got a Trader Joe's. I'm a big Trader Joe's guy. Easy, good produce, whatever. And yeah, you got to wear a mask there. Better than the lines that they had last year. Man, that place was crazy. But yeah, you go to Whole Foods.
Mhm.
They got a big ass sign that says, "We masks are now required." Like it's a bonus, like a good thing.
Right.
I don't think that's what they
Finally, you
mean
can
to
wear
say.
a mask in our
But
store.
dude, it's a massive fucking sign, and I wanted to take a picture with it. Like, yes,
Brought to you by Pfizer.
Yeah.
You can now wear
Yes,
masks in our store.
yeah. This message brought to you by Pfizer. Did you see that post with like all, like 9
Oh
or
my
10
God.
different news conglomerates? All are sponsored by Pfizer. Like, come on, dude. It's like capitalism 101. People,
Propaganda.
if
at
I
its
had a
finest.
fucking lemonade stand, I would, and I was a
Sponsor with Pfizer.
bro. If I was a damn good lemonade, no, fuck that. Pfizer,
Make a lot of money.
Pfizer would sponsor. I would. What was it? What was I want to say? I would be sponsored by. No, Pfizer would sponsor me. Yeah, I'd make it illegal to not drink lemonade.
Damn right.
I'd make it the law. In fact, if you don't get my lemonade from my stand, you lose your job.
Mm.
All right. So
Damn right.
everybody who has more than 100 employees, you better drink my fucking lemonade. It's way better for you than the other lemonades.
Mhm.
It's scientifically proven better. Don't look at the statistics.
John Jones.
Just don't look at the
That's it.
statistics.
Who was it? Charles Manson, or was it the other cult leader that had people drink the Kool-Aid?
Oh no, that's John Jones.
John Jones.
John
Yeah.
Jones. No way.
Yeah, Jonestown,
What?
Jamestown,
Jamestown.
John. Yeah, it's
Ah,
Jamestown, and it wasn't John Jones. Oh,
John
it was
Jones-
John Jones.
John Jones is the MMA fighter.
Nah,
there's,
not Bones
there's a bunch.
Jones.
There's a bunch
Oh.
of John
Not Bones
Jones.
Jones. Yeah, no.
Oh.
No, what
I gotta
happened in
Google it.
I think it was South Africa. You could look that up. No, South Africa.
Is it
South America. Jamestown. Jamestown was actually a very fascinating documentary, and there's like 10 different documentaries on Jamestown where all those people drank cyanide, and it wasn't Kool-Aid, by the way. It was Tang, but it was fucked up. They came across like just a patchwork of I think over 900 people dead.
It was John Jones.
Yeah, it was John Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah, not to be confused with Bones Jones.
Yeah,
But
so,
Bones
yeah,
Jones has
that's-
probably knocked out as many people.
That's-
but
That's
but
what
only
I think of.
only temporarily. Jamestown.
He's in prison now, right?
Huh?
John Jones.
What's that?
Is he in prison right now?
He's dead?
What?
Oh, you mean Bones Jones?
Yeah,
Oh, I
yeah.
don't know.
I was like, damn, dude.
Back-
Did I
He's
miss
having
something?
he's having legal troubles. Yeah.
Okay.
He's having
Yeah.
legal troubles.
It's like one of the most for me it's just I've never seen him fight. I've never been, like watched one of
He's
his
a savage.
cards
Oh really?
because I've only heard about him
Yeah.
because every time he goes up to fight or one that I would watch something happens. Like it's been like that for me, and it's like he's one of the most anticipated fighters and he's always getting in trouble.
Yeah. Yeah. The anticipation for me has been lost
Yeah.
from what I'm hearing.
Well, I tell you, I hear
Just need to keep him away from
I-
cars
I'm
and
the
alcohol.
same. I'm the same way with McGregor. McGregor goes in there and it's like keeps just dropping the ball, and I was such a bandwagoner with
Dude,
him
at
because
first,
he got me into UFC.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
fight with him and Diaz.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, Diaz got you. It was with him and what was that first one in the UFC that was really big?
Well, Aldo.
No, the one before that. The one before Aldo was the one that got me into.
Oh, Poirier.
No. Poirier. Actually, it was after Poirier.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
I
I forget
mean,
his name.
I don't know the order of these fights.
I know
Yeah,
it was. He has a Spanish last name. Mendez. Mendez. Yeah,
Oh,
Mendez.
Mendez. Yeah, that was a good fight.
Yeah,
really good.
That was a really good fight, and it's like it was kind of he came saying like he's doing his McGregor thing, and that's where he really got it. Honestly, Aldo made his career. That 3-second knockout or whatever the hell it was everything. It really was. That was like, what the fuck? No one's ever seen that in their life.
Then he got the second belt.
Yeah, Alvarez.
Yep.
That was like when
after that. It was
when I saw
wreck.
him beat Alvarez and get the second belt, I'm like, this guy's a god. There's no beating him.
And then ever since then, it's just like
downhill. He got fame to his head. Too much money after that Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah.
Yes, I don't. And to in his defense or whatever, I just don't think he should have fought anymore. I mean, you can get fucking some pretty bad brain damage from doing the sport. You got all the money you need.
Yeah,
it's legacy at that point.
It's a lot of money. You could live off a lot.
It's pride as well.
It's his pride. It's his legacy.
Some of the stuff on his Twitter, like he was just arguing with somebody the other night, like, I'm gonna take your life in the cage. Da, da, da. Like he's just tweeting his heart out while he's healing his leg.
Oh, I know. There's a Dr. Stoppage. He was so pissed about that. What a fluke of a win.
I only count knockouts.
Yeah, I only count knockouts. He goes, and Joe Rogan even talked about it in his podcast. He goes, no, he asked me to go down there. He's like, Joe, let's have a podcast. He's like, get down here. And that's when that meme came out. You see that meme with Joe Rogan interviewing the Empire, the trade centers, interviewing Jesus Christ on the cross. He tried posting that on his.
Like, he'll do whatever.
I went right to the comments when I saw him post that one, and people were like, "Joe, that's too far."
Yeah,
Joe, dude.
Yeah. Oh man, look at his leg, dude. Come on. Dude.
Yeah. I know, but he I guess he wanted it. Yeah. I know. I've been listening to him. You know who's actually my favorite podcaster now? It's Tim Dillon.
I still haven't gotten around.
Tim Dillon.
He's the realist. He's so fucking real.
Tim Dillon's something else.
What'd you say?
I still haven't gotten around to seeing any of his stuff.
His podcast is really good.
I know it's
He's
on Spotify.
So good at ranting. Yeah, I just listened to it on Spotify. He has a video version, but it's just him and Shades talking.
He's like the heir to Alex Jones.
Yes. Dude,
oh, yeah?
What a great... Yes, that's exactly it. He's the more PC version of Alex Jones. The thing is with Alex Jones is the GOAT, if you ask me. Yeah. He's the greatest of all time. Yeah. I love Alex Jones. I think he's the most hilarious thing ever, person ever. I love his content.
Absolute pioneer.
You know. And the thing is, if you take everything he says totally seriously, that's the problem.
Yeah.
You got to watch him as just some maniac who can rant, and you got to laugh because when he's interdimensional, there's interdimensional child molesters, vampiric interdimensional child molesters. It's like, dude, just let him flow. Just let him fly. See where he's going with it. You know what I mean? Like, the kind of shit he talks about is so outrageous, but at the same time, he does draw some pretty crazy lines, and some of the things he's talking about do make sense, and it's not in the traditional way. So I haven't heard much from him because, again, he's another one of those people who are censored. No, but I've seen him, though, on Andrew Schultz's podcast, which they took down. Did you watch Andrew Schultz's podcast?
I haven't seen that
He was on that podcast, and they just talked about stuff and had a great time. I watched the whole podcast. It got deleted. Andrew Schultz didn't ask any questions. That's the one thing about Andrew Schultz. I love him, and if you've seen his stuff, he does a great job ranting, too. He's another one of the great ranters of today. But I was really disappointed he didn't have much to say about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, a lot of people just aren't asking questions about this type of stuff. And that's how scary it is. Because when you have a platform and you're big on YouTube and Instagram, your balls are fucking right there, dude. Right there. Hey, you start talking. Don't talk about that, man. And they'll fucking take you.
They're just waiting.
It's a switch for them.
Yeah.
Hey, go into the server. Account number 479265, Andrew Schultz, Michael Mulholland, just turn that one off. You know what I mean? No questions asked. Nobody cares. It doesn't matter.
Yep. Can't do anything about it.
Yeah, so I don't know. I hope
gotta be careful, man. They might be coming after you.
Honestly, I'd encourage it and whatever, dude. I don't know if I'd say things that are that controversial. I mean, a lot of this stuff is becoming more and more mainstream. I think it's good to talk about it because like I think what happened with the pandemic was like a double factor. It was everybody was locked inside and watching the news.
Right.
Because this is the biggest thing that's ever happened
It's
in
a great,
anybody's
great
lifetime.
opportunity to brainwash people.
Oh yeah, this is bigger than 9/11.
Yeah.
And so,
I mean,
it's the biggest thing that's ever happened to this country. It is. I mean,
I would say the world in general.
Probably the world. You might be right. Right now, and in the modern day, it affected things on an instant level. It was like it's happening globally. Boom, everything down. I hope you invested during the dip. You always got to buy the dip.
That's what got me into investing, seeing the dip.
Yeah. That was a great time if you had cash.
I lost a lot of money on the rip.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Crypto's a big thing now. What was I going with that? I don't know. But yeah, no, it's crazy, and a lot of us are experiencing this kind of stuff for the first time. Oh yeah, it was a double factor because the news was something people actually were watching. Like the best thing that ever happened to CNN was Donald Trump. Donald Trump's gone. Numbers plummet. They're holding on to the coronavirus for dear fucking life. Because who in their right mind unanimously would abide to a mandate? So now they can make controversial mandates, keep a few different massive industries going.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if not for just political acrimony. A lot of even prisons are getting some money from this just because they can put people in jail for not abiding. Maybe. I don't know. I would say it might not, because at the same time, how many cops are really going to be like, answering to a non-masked, non-vaxxed call? This guy is a fucking crazy man. He's not wearing his mask. He came into my store. He came into my store, and his nose looked runny. You know what I mean? Like they're gonna really like jet down there. So I don't know. Although crypto's another thing that's coming up in a big way.
I don't know. I was very head over heels about crypto when I first started investing in it.
Yeah. The more you look into it, the more you believe.
Maybe for some people.
Dude, there is some pretty. I mean, Dell would talk your ear off about it because I think he knows more than I do. I had one of my clients talking high heavens about Bitcoin and Ethereum the other day.
Yep, those are the two spearheads. Like
big,
definitely.
Big. I'll bring that in just a little more.
Oh, sorry.
I mean, they're definitely
those are the two
big.
The two bulls leading the charge, I would say.
I had some guy saying some bold shit. He was saying that within the next couple months, Bitcoin could be over 200.
Yep.
And that Ethereum could be...
I heard 300.
300?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. That's what I'm saying. Like, what, by January? That's what he was saying. I'm like, how
Those are big speculations.
Huge. But, like, I know there's some legitimacy because the more you look into it, the more infrastructure you realize exists for these types of things, and there's a lot more demand for them.
Right.
Ethereum's another one.
Yeah, NFTs.
I wish I put money into Ethereum. In October last year, it was $300 for one. It's fucking $4,000. $4,000.
I think that's crazy. It was like, what do people use the cryptocurrencies? Like, I know there's people that like support it, and like companies
creating the blockchain, right? 3.0.
I don't even know totally about it, like what it is.
Yeah,
and stuff. It's a legal currency. In a lot of countries, in South America and stuff like that. Like you can go to Burger King and get your Whopper with Dogecoin.
Yeah.
Dang, dude, that's a lot of Dogecoin though.
yeah, it is.
Well,
$10 for a burger, that's a lot of Dogecoin.
But it's definitely not going anywhere. I mean, it's here to stay. I don't know.
It's just weird to me. Like, there's this currency that's been created out of thin air, basically.
Yes. Well, that's what currency is, though.
Right, I know, but how do you create the value? You make it more available, but then like, I don't know anybody that uses Dogecoin or Bitcoin. So like, how do you like? Here's 0.000005 Bitcoin for these stocks.
Yeah, here's a great example, and what I think would connect the dots to that. Before there was paper money, there was you wanted
It was bartering.
Right, it was bartering.
That's
You
the
wanted
way.
my plot of land, you're going to give me maybe 20 pounds of wheat or some shit like that, right?
Solid trade.
It might be a solid trade, though the convenience is a little has a lot, there's not as much convenience there as you'd like, because maybe I don't want wheat. Maybe that's all you have. I need pigs. You know what I mean? So that makes it really tough. So now we have paper money, because now it's like, okay, we all can agree that this money is valuable, and it was backed at the time by gold, right? Now it's just backed by magic. It really is now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's and so that's the next step. So the only thing more convenient than money at this point is digital currency that can be used for transactions for anything. And so Bitcoin, unlike most of them right now, even though it is the least efficient as far as buying things with, it can take minutes to make a transaction.
Right.
And the code is really long and all this. I know people who do make pretty large transactions with Bitcoin, but if you get that code wrong, which is pretty straightforward, you just copy and paste, whatever.
Right.
You can send it to somebody completely different and never be able to get it back, because
that sounds
Bitcoin.
shitty.
Oh yeah, it sounds shitty, but it's the same thing as you say I was buying a car from you, and I gave you $10,000. You might just walk away with that money.
Dude.
So in cash,
that's harder to
there's
do.
There's no. Well, that's what I'm saying. It's a harder mistake to make, but it at the same time is more convenient. The convenience is worth it, because I can make a transaction to anybody anywhere without any trace of the transaction, without brick and mortar. I'm the only one who owns that currency. Like the people who make Bitcoin don't know that transaction was made. They just know how much Bitcoin exists.
Right.
I think that's what it would be. Or what it is, rather. But I'm not really so keen on, or knowing rather, of how like Internet 3.0 is working. But that, I heard, is like going to be the next wheel.
Internet 3.0, what does that mean?
3.0, blockchain 3.0 or something. It's like
we're just entering a new era of the internet.
I'm gonna botch this, but I think it has something to do with, like, how we all have our own car.
Yeah.
We don't use like a transit system.
Yeah.
It's kind of like when we use the internet, we all use the internet.
Yeah.
Even if you're on your own Facebook or something, you're still using Facebook.com. I think Internet 3.0 is like you have your own bandwidth domain-esque thing where you do your own things on it. But I don't know if it's like a social media. It's not like a MySpace thing. It's like a...
Right. I don't know.
It's something that doesn't exist right now. That's why it's really hard to compare it to anything, because it's like it's a new wheel. And right now it's very easy to dismiss, just like plenty of people did when the internet came out. They were like, this is never going to work. Mm-hmm. Who really is going to take the time to use this machine to type something and then send it to somebody else who might not even have that machine? Right? When email was invented, people were like, this is ridiculous. It was so cumbersome that it was less convenient at the time. And now it's like, I would never write somebody a letter.
Yeah.
I don't even email people.
Email is almost archaic.
It's ancient, like it's becoming
too slow.
Like CDs.
I need instant messages.
Yeah, I know.
DVDs and stuff.
Email's still very prevalent in the business world, though. Like I communicate with most people regarding business. Like if it has anything to do with my company, right, it's more often than an email.
Yeah, I feel like it's something you would use for more professional uses, or if you have a subscriction and you have to use an email to put it on there. Like that's kind of the only thing I really use it for. Like so if I want Hulu or Netflix, I got to put my email in.
Yeah. And for me, like with clients, with my work, I'll give them my phone number, but there's only so many people you really want to have your phone number. So sometimes they just be like, email me, because it's like at that point I have people text me sometimes and I don't even know who that is, and they don't even say who they are. And then so it can take longer sometimes, because it's like, who is this? You know what I mean? Oh, can we change next week's appointment? And they'll say that, and I'll be like, who is this? You know what I mean? So it can be tough like that.
Yeah, it's interesting how technology, like from 1921 to 2021, and then, and then I don't know, 21, right? Who knows where?
Yeah, then 21.
21. Bro, I'll be dead. Yeah. Don't even care.
Don't care what's going on, man.
It is interesting, though. It is interesting. There is some things, too, where I'm just like, I also am not so much a fan of this knowing of all things. I think that's real causes a lot of disparity today. Is people
Elon
know
Musk's
too much.
little microchip. Everyone will be connected, and then we're all gonna become hive mind.
Yeah,
that's how it's gonna happen. We'll all be the same.
Well, I will say there's some things I am interested in seeing, and that's one of them play out.
Dude, you might be around for that one.
Yeah, that one I'm sure I'll see play out. I want to go to space.
Dude, Mars.
I want to Mars.
Go to Mars.
I think you can do that.
I'll start the new civilization. I'll go out there.
Oh, all right.
I'll be one of the guys out there.
Nice.
Like they'll need a guy to breed.
You'll be 80 years old. I'm like, I'm ready.
I'm ready. We gotta get this planet filled with people.
That's You're just doing the podcast with Rick and Morty on Mars, you know?
Yeah, seriously. Well, you know what I find is pretty funny in like all this conversation of like pollution and stuff. A lot of things that humans are pretty good for revitalizing planets. Because as much as you talk shit, actually, Alex Photo, shout out to Alex Photo. Because I had a good conversation with him about it. But you'd be surprised how much like the emissions from society are pretty good for the atmosphere. I think from like for instance, global warming is a big topic. Mm-hmm. A planet like ours being warm is ideal. If it's cold, Mars is cold because it's a dead planet. You know what I mean? The warmer the planet gets, the more things can be alive. And that's what that is. Just we're just talking basic warmth. Pollution wise, that's a whole nother conversation, and that's not what I'm talking about at all. I think the pollution thing is a fucking disaster, and now everybody's got 20,000 masks going into the trash. You know what I'm saying? Yep. Now nobody's talking about that either, though. That's another one.
It's all over they throw it all on the ground.
Dude, nobody's going to talk about how many fucking masks have been thrown away. And I'm like, does anybody even think about the environmental impact? I had one person tell me it's probably better for the environment because people breathing in the air, messing up the world. I'm like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Like, that's what I said. That was like one of those situations where like in your life you go, oh, this is a test. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, whoa. I had to hold my tongue, man, because I'm like, this fucking lady is out of her fucking mind saying breathing is bad for the environment. Like, what the fuck, dude? And like a mask is gonna really change that? Like, you're still breathing. Right. Anyways, you think about all the masks. There's a fucking island the size of Texas off the coast of Florida that's like a few feet deep, right? Of just trash. It's like Trash Island. It's literally called Trash Island. There's so much garbage. But if you were to take a lot of this shit and just get cars driving out on Mars and just maybe nuke the poles or something like that, you get some heat going and get the atmosphere back in action.
Dude, it's what's really nuts is like, if you think about it, everyone has trash.
Yeah.
Like, fuck masks, like everything.
Yeah.
Where do you think that goes? It goes in the landfills.
Oh, yeah. And some people were saying, oh, these are biodegradable. Like, are they? I've never really burnt a mask. Is it made out of paper? I don't think it is. I think it's made out of plastic.
Yeah, could be recycled plastic.
And no matter what you do, that's 1,000 years. It takes 1,000 years to make that biodegrade. I am optimistic to see what they do with it in the future, though. I was just thinking about, there's this funny thing, man. Oh, no. Alex also was telling me that you wouldn't know it, but technically we're coming out of an ice age. Because there's still glaciers on land, massive ones. Like in Iceland, there's one that's like 2,000 kilometers across or some shit. Really, really big. And then there's a few other ones in other places, which means we're coming out of an ice age, which means the planet's warming up. Like, it goes through cycles.
Right.
So it's like not saying, and again, the conversation between the planet getting warmer and there being pollution are two different conversations. Because you can look at LA or like Hong Kong and be like, yeah, there's some air pollution there. Like, it's bad. There's brake dust. There's cars running at all times. Like, you can't breathe normally there. That's for sure. But the planet's a lot bigger than LA or Hong Kong. You know what I mean? So there's a lot more going on. And I don't know much about it, so I don't want to talk like I do. But like, I have heard a lot of things that, you know, if you're looking at it from a scientific standpoint, a lot of the stuff that's going on is just really the observation of the nature of a planet.
Right.
Because it changes. I mean, all the continents are moving as we speak, not by much, but I mean, you stick around for 1 billion years and it's going to be a whole different world.
Right.
Same with the tides, same with like the currents underneath, and all these different things shifting, you kind of realize that you can politicize it, but there's a point where you should start kind of scratching your head and maybe asking more questions when the only answer to global warming is taxation. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it just goes right back to, oh, this is a big problem. We need more money.
Right, right.
We'll take it from these big, greedy corporations, and then what do? It just scales down. All right, well, we're going to reflect the costs of what we pay our employees and what the products cost.
Right.
With that tax. So everybody at the top wins. Government and the aristocracy.
Trickle-down economics.
Yeah, trickle-down economics. Everybody's winning at the top because, I mean, it's not going to be a huge difference. Okay, $10 billion more for taxes on this multi-trillion-dollar company, and then they sell, I don't know, 10 billion products a day. You know, it's just going to be a little bit more on shipping. You wouldn't know, but after 10 years, you're like, shit, I was buying a loaf of bread for $1. Now it costs me $5. Mm-hmm. And people forget that the grocery store doesn't grow food. You know what I mean? It never has, and it just doesn't. You know, maybe farms. Maybe if you're lucky enough to live like Randall's farm, Atkins farm, they grow some stuff, and you can get it there. But the point is that everything's being transported by gasoline cars or vehicles in general.
You know what's interesting? If you go to Connecticut, Hartford specifically,
yeah,
if it's raining, it smells fucking terrible. You can smell the chemicals.
Oh, it's gross. Well, cities just stink, dude. New York. Every time I've been to New York City, it smells like trash. It smells like shit. I go, what's it smell? Does that smell like shit? Like, I don't know. Nothing against New York. I haven't been there enough to really enjoy. I tell people that all the time. I've never really enjoyed the amenities of New York City. I've gone there for very specific things and then just left.
There's just a bunch of stores there.
I'm always blown away by the size of the buildings. That is one thing that when you go to a city, you're like, whoa. Dude. But I do that in the mountains. You know, you're like, whoa.
Right.
You know, big things are like always big things. But like when you see them as skyscrapers, you're like, holy shit. Stand like right at the base. You ever do that and watch it go like this? That's fucking scary.
What, with the building?
The building moves.
Yeah.
And you're like, fuck. But if it didn't, it would break. It'd like fall down.
Yeah.
Dude, Jameson and I went to a field trip with HCC.
Uh-huh.
And the guy tried to get me to pay $75 to take an elevator to the top of a building.
The top, yeah.
And I was like, I'm not paying $75 to take an elevator ride.
I'll go get a slice of pizza for $50 instead. You know what I mean? Like, New York, dude. Yeah, I would have a tough time living there. Oh, shout out to Jeremy. Jeremy's the first patron of the Locals Only podcast. Shout out to Jeremy if he's listening. Shout out to Brian Denon, just for the sake of giving him a shout out. Dude's the man. Shout out to whoever's listening.
Yeah.
To me just rambling in my bedroom.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, the patron is a pretty cool endeavor. I'm trying to figure out more on how I can provide more for people through it. That's kind of like I said, that's why I think I have to set up another thing. But it's crazy how many things you can do and how few places there are to actually upload videos. Like there's YouTube.
Right.
And I guess TikTok. TikTok doesn't even have video limits anymore, I think. And maybe it's like 10 minutes or something.
I have no clue.
I
don't use TikTok.
Yeah, I deleted it a while ago. Yeah, man, people, secret to a better life, just delete most of your social media. I only have Instagram now that I use on my phone. And their algorithm really doesn't do anything for you. Yeah. So you're never like hooked in like you are with TikTok. TikTok knows what you love and what you hate. Yeah. And they show it to you. And that can be, the stuff you hate can be equally stimulating.
Right.
Like I can't tell you how many, I mean, maybe it's all TikToks, but at least mine, man, how many fucking like weirdly obsessive vaccine bullshit you'd get on there. Like, why is this really? I remember when people ask, because I usually never got like my flu vaccine. I don't think I ever did after high school. And, you know, people would just be like, huh. When I said that, I go, yeah, I don't think I got one in 10 years or something like that. And nobody said nothing. Nobody says anything.
Nobody bat an eye.
Dude, if you were to go around as anybody and saying that you didn't get the fucking whatever shot now, you could get kicked out of places. You know what I mean? You could be ostracized from your work group, from your workplace, from your friend group. I wouldn't be surprised if there's people who are so crazy about it like that.
Right. Definitely.
You know what I mean? Like if you told them that, they might not talk to you.
Yep.
That's the craziest thing about this. It's like, I hate I
It's a
hate
lot of
living in a
division.
political divide, like when it's divided like that. Somebody
It's
was
tough, man.
somebody was saying like if you were to replace like COVID with the word Jews, it would look
That
a
was some
lot like
Rogan podcast, right?
yeah. That guy made a good point. I'd be like, yo, this would sound a lot like the precursor to Nazi Germany, like
Right.
with just or no, maybe anti-vaxxer and instead of
Yeah,
anti-vaxxer,
when they
put
released the
Jews.
documents, they said,
They
a lot of
just
people that reported
dehumanizing
it,
people.
a
Yeah.
lot of people that reported it were their neighbors or their friends,
Just because you had the power to do
Yeah.
that. I mean, imagine, and this is real in this world right now, if you were to rat somebody out for being somewhere
You would
without something like
yeah.
of that nature, they could call a higher authority to take care of you,
Right.
like to get you to destroy your company or something like that, because it's illegal now to not abide.
Yeah.
Which is, like I said, man, I got to open up a lemonade stand, get some politicians under my wing, and be like, listen, this lemonade's better than all the other lemonades, and it's less sugar, so it's better for you. So nothing else should be allowed to be
No, you got to put a lot of sugar in there.
Maybe a lot. Well, that's probably how they would end up endorsing it.
Yeah, you don't have
more.
to tell them how much sugar.
Yeah,
you just tell them that
It's none of their business.
natural ingredients.
Yeah.
It's organic.
It's good for you. That's
yes.
it.
Yeah. Something like that. All right. Well, let's talk about your music, man. What's the next plan? So you just played in not where? Warren.
I was in West Brookfield.
West Brookfield. Okay, near Warren, right? Through Warren, if you're coming from the west. I went through Warren, anyways.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Old Warren.
Right now we're working on recording. So it's gonna take a little while.
Yeah.
We're making new songs. We're trying to make some new plans with some more shows. Going from there.
Yeah. What are some things like you kind of learned through the process? Because I mean, I'm sure there's a lot to it. I mean, I try to play Rocket League with you. Where the hell have you been, by the way, with Rocket League? I'm like, we need Dell bad. I'm in like platinum, and I want to stay there.
And what, threes?
Threes, yeah.
Yeah.
But
that's good, man. That's good.
I haven't been playing enough.
Yeah, dude, we gotta run it back. I've been playing.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm platinum in solos. So.
Oh, nice.
Oh shit, you do solos?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay. All right. I gotcha. Yeah. So yeah, you've been at band practice and
like recently because of work, not
right.
so much.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Night shift.
But what are some like things that you would take away from that experience? I just coming from somebody who can be really into something like myself. There's a lot of things.
So, I mean, during practice, it's like we usually go through the songs like once or twice, depending on like if there's a show coming up.
Yeah.
So, like, usually we do like twice if there's a show. But when we're just trying to figure out songs and like trying to figure out what sounds good, everyone has a different opinion. Like everyone has a different style they want to work with.
Yeah.
And so we kind of I'll do something like, oh, can we add this or try this? And it's just a lot of nitpicking.
Yeah. I would assume. And it's tough because how do you make a decision? Is it always based off of
it kind of just is like a mesh. It's a mesh of everyone's opinions.
Okay.
Like so
I think a lot of situations like that are tough when there isn't I want to use the word leader.
Yeah, like, I would say out of our band I think Dave and Derek
are sort of spearheading a lot of it.
They're definitely more. I would say they're actually more knowledgeable. So Derek makes the rhythm guitar, so he makes a lot. Like basically, the rhythm is the song.
Yes,
and
it's like the bass.
I'm just noodling around doing some leads, see what I can do, and I'll join in with the rhythm as well. Try to make something slightly different, not completely the same. But I don't know
dude, that one song that was just instrumental.
Oh,
blew my fucking mind.
That one
to hear that live.
I actually wrote that one.
You wrote that one? I had a feeling
that one was an interlude. We actually almost didn't put it in at all because it literally is based off of the song that comes right after.
That reminded me, not to take away from it, but it was of the same feeling and caliber of like something you would hear from like Tool or Perfect Circle, like a really solid riff, like I don't even know what you would call that, like verse. It was just great, like the whole thing.
It was a fun one. I liked it. It's also like our slowest thing that we play.
It's slow, but it fucking rips. I mean, at that point and at that level, which is got to be exciting for you guys, is that I don't think anybody has any expectation.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Well, especially since we're new. I mean,
right.
Nobody knows what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
I think like our music is unique.
I think so too.
I don't know. Like we play with a few bands, and I don't see anybody playing that kind of stuff. Also, we have a lot of inspiration. Like, so like, for me and Derek, we jammed since like high school, maybe a little early middle school, and we played Parkway Drive and August Burns Red, both metal bands. They're like melodic metalcore.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of inspiration through that, which kind of transpires through our music.
How'd you guys get into like playing together? Did you know them prior,
or? Derek, I knew.
And you kind of just heard about it.
Oh, the band? No.
Yeah.
So Derek and I just like we had a moment we weren't talking because we were both busy with our lives, and then I posted something with guitar, and he posted something with his guitar on Instagram. So always through Instagram.
Yeah.
And then we were like, "Yo, you want to jam?" So we jammed. His brother Darren was playing drums for us at this beginning, and eventually just kind of went from that to where we are now.
And the name of the band too is the Flood, by the way. And I keep hounding you about it, like to make some type of social media presence. I'm assuming none of you guys do anything on the technical side.
We haven't actually even talked about it.
I was gonna say, I don't think it costs anything to be on Spotify.
Yeah.
Or obviously to upload a YouTube video. Like if you just had the Flood and you just uploaded your tracks with your cover album.
Right.
I mean, that's like a great way for people to sample, or you know what I mean, and just see what you do.
Yeah. So far, most of our focus is getting places to play.
Yeah, I like that
because we can make a social media and everything account. I mean, like, but before we even get anywhere, we should probably get some people that are actually interested.
That's smart. That's really smart, man. And that's probably a part of the process. It's funny you say that too, because I've had a lot of artists on here, but that's part of a process maybe a lot of people don't put emphasis on, is getting out there and getting public. And of course, I started this podcast in the best year ever, 2020. Not many people were performing.
Right.
So, that's also a thing. But getting out there has got to be easily the easiest way to kind of get some people interested.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't even know where they find these places, to be honest. I mean,
what's that?
Our 2 concerts. I know Derek.
Oh, yeah.
Derek works on the trails all the time, so that was kind of like
networking.
A given. But like the first one, I didn't expect to be playing there.
Yeah.
And where we're going next, no clue. I'm not even in charge of that stuff.
Well, let us know, man. Obviously, I'll put Ian's link in the video description. If you're listening to this on like Spotify or something, it'll be in the YouTube videos description. But I mean, that's probably a good place to follow you guys.
Yeah.
Just a quick shout out. I don't know, because I mean the shows are free, and honestly, it was so great going to the Veltruva Palooza.
That was a fun experience.
It was.
They're both experiences. They were really fun.
Great experiences.
I wish you got to come by earlier to see the BMX. That was fun.
Yeah, the BMX was cool. I did get to see a little bit of on that second show. That was cool. I enjoyed that. And it's just nice to get out and do stuff.
Yeah.
Especially considering it's about to be winter.
Right.
I'm dreading that, man.
I know.
Gonna really get that Diamond League. That Diamond League on Rocket League.
Okay.
Fuck, man.
That's the goal, man.
That's all there is. That's all there is at this point. I'll just be in here. I'll just be like, I'll leave a sign out front. Do a podcast. Local podcaster, and just have my neighbors in here.
Yeah.
Old ladies. Get the dog next door that barks for 50 minutes at a time.
There you go, dude. That's
fucking dog.
Put on the Patreon.
Yeah.
50 minutes of
this
dog.
This is my
barking.
neighbor's dog, and I'll just have a 2-hour long track of the dog.
Got that behind the scenes content.
It's the fucking shit. Especially at 2 a.m.
Mint.
Right.
The best. Let the dog out. The dog just starts barking at its shadow. Like, what are you barking at this early? It happens sometimes. Not enough for me to be really pissed about it, but yeah. So like, you do the shows, you go live. What's like a point where you start, or how do you get involved with having like cover charges and stuff? Just like bigger venues?
Not
or?
A clue. We haven't gotten there
with
yet.
what you guys have, and I mean, obviously, by the time I see you guys again, I'm sure there'll be even less audio failures.
Yeah, that was unfortunate.
Well, there's a lot of things you can't control. Like
Yeah.
the first time, you weren't really in control of the whole audio system. I don't
Yeah, we weren't in charge of any of that.
Yeah.
And the second time,
you were maxing
the circuit that we were on couldn't hold the power for the mic.
That was pretty apparent too, because every time the guy would sing,
the lights would dim, flicker.
Like every time he would yell into the mic, or anytime anybody would play any instrument really loud, the lights would dim down a little.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, it was interesting. It would have been cool if like it didn't short everything and the lights still flickered. You know, it's like, oh, that's a pretty cool effect.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I know that sucked because he didn't even realize that he was singing so loud that his can he hear the sound of him singing through the speakers?
I don't know.
Because he didn't skip a beat. I know that would be a good question because he didn't skip a beat. I don't think he could because it was probably so loud in his head when he's screaming.
Maybe, but I think maybe just for the fact that we're out doing a show, he's like, fuck it, dude, I can't be just playing with these things while we're doing a song right now. I just put hopefully because when we switched the system to the smaller one, like it wasn't powerful enough. It wasn't as clear.
Yeah.
But like it still kind of cut out, right? You said
it was like he would sing, and then it would just completely stop, like his voice would stop coming through, and then it would like come back.
Yeah,
it was random. It was perfectly random.
Right.
It was just like.
But that won't be a problem next time.
Yeah, I'm sure it won't. Like I said, I mean, we've
got less problems as we go.
Right. It's kind of cool to see that curve. Seeing the first two shows and like I said before, the first two shows were night and day. But yeah, there's nothing like you said you could really do about it because that's the breaker.
Yeah.
I mean. Can't call the company and be like, yo, put some more power over here.
Give us more juice.
Give us more juice. We're having a show.
What really caught us off guard was the encore because we didn't have an encore.
You guys still crushed it. You're like, oh, we never played this song live, and I couldn't tell.
We never played the song all of us together.
Yeah. That's crazy. So you never even practiced it.
Each of us have practiced like
part.
Me and Derek and Dave would practice a song, and then
like
Garrett would be there one day, and at Derek's house.
Okay.
That's where we all practice. And we just were like, you know what? I guess we can try it.
Well, you guys got good chemistry because you fucking ripped.
Thanks.
I mean, that was awesome. You pulled it off. I thought you guys were being modest. Like that's just a thing to say.
We did not know how that was going to happen.
Totally not prepared.
It could be really bad or it could be fine. I at one point I forgot what I was supposed to play, so I muted myself.
Really?
Yeah. I was like, oh fuck, I don't want to fuck this up. I'm gonna mute myself.
How long did you mute yourself for?
Probably for like one whole verse.
Oh shit!
And I was sitting there pretending, to play.
I was like, it's unbelievable. These guys saying they didn't play this, and it sounded great. Came through just fine. Yeah, man. I don't know. We could wrap this up. You got anything else you want to talk about? I don't know. Chilling here.
I could shoot the shit all day, but
yeah, dude. Did you bring a guitar?
I did.
You want to like rip that for a sec?
I don't know.
Just like
I don't
jam
know what
on
I want
it.
to play.
Oh, it's not like a big deal. I can cut it up. This is the end of the podcast,
Yeah.
so we'll get a little outro with Ian fucking shredding. Just anything you want.
Okay.
That'd be cool. All right.
Cool.
Nice.
Sick. Peace.
That's it.